Okay, folks, I have no idea if this is live. I'm still working on it. There we go. Let's see. Let me see. Are we live? Are we live? Okay, excellent. I think we're live now, folks. Well, this is just a channel where I'm just going to be discussing weird things that run through my head, weird thoughts. It doesn't matter what it is. It's a free flow channel. I invite the public to come and join me. We can discuss anything. Only thing I ask is whatever we discuss, it's done politely. No foul language, no spamming, stuff like that. But anyway, it's like today. I'm trying to figure out why is OBS so difficult to use. Yes, I am a new OBS user. I'm new to Linux, and I've left the Windows because of the, how should I say, spyware. We'll put it that way. Windows 11 is absolutely horrible. I guess that's going to be my subject for today. But, we're just talking about it. Windows 11, yes, it comes with a lot of spyware, and a lot of people are stepping away from Windows because of that. I think it's personally kind of dirty what they did to Windows, where they cut off all support for Windows 10, and then basically said you have to have all these new components or newer components to run Windows 11. So your 3 or 4-year-old computer, if it doesn't have that particular program or hardware, you can't run Windows 11. And it's trying to force people to go buy new hardware. And I personally think that was kind of dirty of them. I know they're in the business of making money. That's understandable. But, they have all this stuff on there that's honestly just pure spyware that's reporting all this information back to Microsoft, like taking screenshots of whatever you're doing every 3 or 5 seconds, something like that. I can't remember exactly what the number was on that. And honestly, it can actually steal your passwords, steal your bank account information, and all that information is going to get reported to Microsoft. Does Microsoft need to know what I'm looking at 3 o'clock in the morning? That I may be shopping for dehydrators at 3 o'clock in the morning? No, they don't. And that's kind of why I stepped away from Windows. I have personally, again, this is personal, I have chosen to go to Linux. It's a free operating system, and I personally use, and again, this is just my person, and I use Linux Mint Cinnamon Edition, the 22.3, which is the newest one out there. In fact, it's not even on an official release yet. It's still on beta. But I find it very operational. My computer is actually a lot faster. And the operating system is much, much smaller. It doesn't report anything back unless you tell it to. That's what I like to control about Linux. So that's kind of my personal opinion. And again, I will say it because this is still being a live stream, and I'll put it on the video too. Everything I say is my opinion and solely my opinion. I'm not a professional in any way. Never claimed to, never will claim to. So, got my legal butt covered there. But back to the whole Windows thing, Copilot and AI and all that good stuff. That may be great for a business setup where they have an entire IT department to take care of things and limit what Copilot and all that can do, where the average user doesn't need any of that. And honestly, most of the users have never asked for that. And so we're just going to continue leaving Windows. Windows has lost several percentage points in market share since these problems have occurred. People have just gotten tired of how Windows behaves. You're working in the middle of a project, or you're in the middle of a video call or whatever, Windows decides it's time to update, and it's just going to do it. It's going to shut everything down and going to update. Where in Linux, you control the updates, you control the time, you want these updates done. You can even set them as automatic, and honestly, that's how I have mine set, is automatic. And it boots up, it updates, and then by the time you sit down at your computer, it's already updated. And that's what I like about Linux. You'll never even know it happened. So, as we progress, I have a funny feeling that a lot of people are going to go to Mac. A lot of people are going to go over to Linux. And Windows is going to realize their mistake eventually. Windows 12 is supposed to be even worse than Windows 11, which is already horrible. And these changes are not good. You know, if you look at it, Windows operating system is like 30 or 40, 50 gigabytes to load on your computer. And they try to tell you, oh, you need all that to make your computer work. Well, my personal Linux, the Linux Mint Cinnamon, I believe is 2.8 or 2.9 gigabytes. Much, much smaller. And it doesn't eat into your hard drive. I personally just run a 2 terabyte hard drive. That's it. Where Windows says you have to have a 6 or 8 or 10 or 12, or whatever they're recommending anymore. Just so you can run their operating system. Linux is much lighter, it's much more secure, and that way it's giving you control of your computer back instead of your controller. Excuse me, this is live, so excuse me. Instead of, they give you control over the computer instead of the computer controlling you, and I like that. They have a lot of programs. One of the more popular programs on Linux, which is actually cross-compatible with Windows. So if you ever get tired of paying for your Microsoft 365, here's a small option for you. It's called LibreOffice. LibreOffice. It literally looks like Microsoft Office. Few minor things different, but nothing you would really run into in day-to-day use. It's more advanced stuff. And it is compatible with Microsoft Office. So if you create a document in LibreOffice, say you do a spreadsheet or a text document in LibreOffice, you can send it to somebody who has Microsoft Office and it would open right up. That's one plus about it. LibreOffice, again, is free. Linux is free. And how much is Windows charging you for a Windows 11 installation anymore? I think it's like $500 or something like that. And then I believe it's well above $100 for Microsoft 365 every year. And then more money if you get like Adobe Premiere, something like that. Every program with Microsoft seems to cost you more and more and more money. It's a subscription you pay every year. I'll just use $100. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head for Microsoft 365. So we just call it $100. So every year you're paying them $100 just to use that program. When you download LibreOffice and do exact same thing, and probably more, for free. That's just one of the many options available on Linux. And like I said, that is cross-compatible with Windows. So if you just want to get rid of Office 365 and go to LibreOffice, it will run on Windows just fine. Windows 10, Windows 11 probably. I personally have only just barely scratched the surface of Windows 11. And it didn't take me long to figure out I didn't like it. So I can't really give too much on Windows 11. And then as far as your Adobe Premiere, on Linux you have one called DaVinci. It does the same thing. and what was the other one? Like I said, there's several different um, OSs, or they call them distributions of Linux. Personally, I think for most people, unless you're into gaming or something like that, most people would do very well with Linux Mint. Whether you want the Cinnamon, which is the totally deluxe version, Mate, which is kind of like the medium version, or KDE, I believe it is, which is the smaller version. Personally, if your computer could run Windows 10 without issue, you can easily run Cinnamon Edition, which is actually the one I recommend. I have installed it on several computers for people, and they seem to be happy with it. So, and that is kind of where I stand on that whole issue. Um, there are so many different programs for Linux that Windows will charge you for. And the majority, well above 95% of the stuff for Linux, the programs and stuff, are free and they're open source. So if you're kind of the geeky type who likes to look at code, not me. It's totally open source. You can read the code. You can change the code. It's up to you. And that's what I like about Linux is everything on it is pretty much open source software. You can look at it, you can read it, you can change it, you can do whatever with it. I personally am not that geeky to getting the reading code. I have friends of mine that do, and personally I look at it, my eyes go cross. But I'm getting better. And another thing I want to bring up as far as Linux is most people remember Linux of years ago, where everything had to be typed in on what they call the command line. You had to type all the commands individually, type this command, type that command. And with Linux Mint Cinnamon, that is no longer the standard. They have what they call a GUI, or graphics user interface, if you really want to use the terminology for it, where it's point and click, a lot like Windows. And you just put what you want on your home screen. I have like LibreOffice and this program OBS, my Kdenlive, which I use for editing, stuff like that. I keep that on my home screen, so click and it opens up. There are other programs if you want to download them. That's fine. You can go through and look at what they have. And if you're not sure what a particular program is, my personal recommendation, ChatGPT is a wonderful resource for information. If you tell them what is, DaVinci about on Linux, and it will explain you what it's for, what it does, stuff like that. And you decide if you want that particular program, and you download it. Again, free. And I think that's why a lot of people are switching over to Linux, is they have these older Windows computers, 3-4 years old, and they're still a fantastic computer. And, but it won't upgrade to Windows 11 because it doesn't have that, I think it's called a TP2 hardware or something like that. Something like that. And they can't upgrade. There's roundabout ways you can do it, but Windows is closing those on a daily basis. As soon as they find out that you're upgrading without having that security chip in there, they block it, and then you're back to square one. Where if you just decide to go over to a Linux, whatever distro, like I said, I personally recommend Mint for a lot of people. Most people, honestly. Unless you're a gamer, and then there's a couple other ones, which we may discuss later, but anybody who's a gamer would know those options. So we'll just stick with Mint for now. And great for email. They have Thunderbird email, which you can link to whether it's your Gmail account or whatever. It's called Thunderbird Mail. It's meant for privacy, and that's one thing you will notice on a lot of Linux stuff. It's meant for privacy. They don't want to know what you're doing. They don't care what you're doing. If you want to look on how to make scrambled eggs at 4 o'clock in the morning, hey, go for it. They don't care. Where Windows would be like, what are you making scrambled eggs at 4 o'clock in the morning? Let's send them ads for eggs. Send them ads for this, send them ads for that, let them ads for this. And you'll notice on Linux you get none of that. I have not had an ad show up on my computer yet. Plus, Linux comes with a very good firewall built in free, which I believe is actually a pay option on Windows now. They have a very good open source firewall. It works very well. I've had no issues with that. And there are many programs you can put on there. Just a few that I use. I use FreeTube. It's a privacy-based YouTube application. You can go on there and look up YouTube. Same thing you would look up on YouTube, you can look up on FreeTube. Doesn't cost you anything. There is no premium service. And I use, it's called Shortwave, which is basically I can listen to music from around the world via the internet. Sometimes I listen to strange music. It may be Creole one day, country the next, and death metal the next. It's whatever I feel like listening to. So, and so I'm, that's just a couple of them I use off the top of my head. I use DaVinci. I use GIMP for photo editing. Instead of Photoshop, I use GIMP. Photoshop you gotta pay for. GIMP is free. I know this isn't exactly a weird video, but it's just something I wanted to put out there. And, it's been a lot of work trying to prepare for this particular channel, this broadcast. And I would love if people would join me and put whatever suits your fancy up there. This channel will not judge you for anything. I'm willing to talk about aliens. I'm willing to talk about spiritual stuff. I'm willing to talk about government conspiracies or whatever, Atlantis, whatever you want to talk about. This is an open channel. I'm trying to get people to open their mind up and think, and not live in this little box that life has put you in. Boxes are bad. We're thinking way out here outside the box. And that's how I want people to think. Free your mind, I guess would be a good way to put it. There's plenty of music I'd love to have on this channel, but copyright laws, you know how that goes. So this channel will probably be a lot of me talking. I may throw some little sound bites in later. But overall, that's what it's about. It doesn't matter what you want to talk about as long as we can talk about it politely. And I encourage anything you want to bring up. You're more than welcome to bring it up during a live chat, or if you want to put it in the comments, I do read the comments, and I will read the comments. And I'll respond. If you give me a subject you want to talk about, whether it be lizard people, if you put that in the comments, I'll be like, okay, let's make a video about lizard people, and I'll give you my opinion on it. And that's just kind of how this channel is going to work. I may cover more than one subject in a video. It depends on how long the videos are going to be. But basically, I would like to keep them 20 minutes, half hour, or if we get into an in-depth chat about something, I'll make it longer. That's not a problem to me. So anyway, I invite everyone who watches this video to share it. And remember, this is an open mind channel. If you want to talk about ESP, fine. If you want to talk about aliens, fine. Governments, fine. What's in the bottom of the ocean, fine. I don't judge. And I would like others to be the same way. If you're open-minded enough to hear other people's views, and then be able to say, okay, I may not believe the same way, but I'm listening to it and I'm thinking about it. That's all this channel's about. Think about it. Whether I'm right, whether I'm wrong, I don't know. And I will tell you right now, I'm going to say that phrase a lot in these videos. I don't know. Personally, I think it's one of the best things you can say. I'm not a professional. This is not going to be professional grade by any means. So, anyway, I just wanted to put this video out. First video of it. Like I said, we spoke on Linux in this video. If someone would make a comment and give me some subjects to talk about. If I don't have the knowledge to talk about it, I'm going to look it up and see what I can find out about it. And then I'll bring it to you. Again, I'm not going to say I'm right. I'm not going to say I'm wrong. Half the time it's going to be, oh, be like Scooby, oh. But, yeah. So, anyway, I wish the best for everyone out there. Keep your mind open, your ears open, listen, and absorb what's out there. And I hope everyone has an absolutely wonderful day.